Hey, Facebook. Hey, YouTube. Hey, worldwide. You have stumbled right on into Kari's Corner. I am so happy to have you here today. I'm so thankful that you're here. So thankful that you've joined us. We have a really exciting show today, and we're kicking off a whole new series about relocation and about what it's like coming to the United States. So for those of you who are still preparing for that ESL exam, the next coming weeks are going to give you some really great colloquial terms, some really great local American language for you to use in those all important speaking interviews. We are going to expose you to so much vocabulary. Your heads are going to spin. It's just going to be absolutely amazing. I'm super excited. But of course, before we kick things off, I do want to remind you guys, my name's Kari Cooper. I am the ESL Program Coordinator for Worldwide HealthStaff Solutions. We do offer a free English language preparation course. If you're interested in that, please make sure you reach out to your case manager. That program is free to all of our RNs out there. So absolutely, please do that. Reach out to your case manager. Give your case manager a shout out on here. For those of you who are new to the show, I always like it when people drop in the comments and they say who they are, where they're watching from. It's just so cool to me to see how Worldwide is so appropriately named, because we are that. We are worldwide, and we're reaching nurses and helping nurses all over the globe. So drop your name in the comments and be prepared with those questions, because today we are talking about relocation. I am so excited to talk about relocation, because that means I get to work with someone who is happy just all the time, and she has an extra special glow about her. The director of relocation herself, we have on today's show, we have Miss Ashley Wheatley, and I'm going to bring her on shortly. I'm super excited. But as people are still joining in and getting cozy with their tea or their coffee or their little nightcap, wherever you are in the world, here's some fun facts about just relocation and immigration in general. Some of these facts, one of them may not be so fun, but it is a fact, and you do have to face the facts, right? So around 1.5 million people immigrated to the United States in 2021. Did Worldwide handle all 1.5 million? Absolutely not. No, we did not. But we did handle a pretty large amount of people in 2021. I don't have an exact number. I'm sure that Ashley could get you a number, but probably maybe not right now or today, but she could definitely get you one. About 13.6 of people in the United States, currently living in the United States, are actually foreign born, meaning they're born outside of the United States. So foreign born people make up 13.6 of the population in the United States. The sad fact, I guess if you want to say that, would be the number of immigrants turned away or apprehended at the borders reached 2.8 million people in the fiscal year 2022. So I know those of you who are out there, I like to give you that number just as like a reality check of the process, right? It can be a super long process. It can be tedious. It can be exhausting. It can sometimes even be defeating. It can be scary. You're going to face roadblocks, but hang in there. Hang in there. That's the best advice that I have for you. Be patient. I like to say, pack your patience, right? Pack your patience. Trust your case manager. Trust the system. We're going to get you through there. But the most exciting part, my most excited nurses, and this is really when the nerves kick in and nurses start to realize, oh my gosh, this is a reality. This is happening. That happens when you get to the relocation phase of things. So you've done your embassy interview and you're like, yes, we are going to the U.S. And therefore, now is the perfect time for me to bring on Ms. Ashley Wheatley. Yay. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Ashley.
Good morning, Kari. Well, I guess evenings to some people as well. But Kari, I'm glad to be here.
We are so excited to have you because your department I feel like case management handles a lot of the questions and the frustration and didn't you get my paperwork? And your department deals with that fear and that anxiety and all those questions that come with relocating, right?
Absolutely. You know, the one of the scariest parts of the immigration process can be those final stages, and our team knows that, and we come in to really help make sure that transition is as stress free as possible. That you have all the information that you need. We're your additional support in those final moments, that final push to get here.
I feel like that all of the relocation coordinators were specific. I feel like the interview process for that had to have been like closed eyes and you just have to listen to each of your voices because all of our relocation coordinators just have this like very sweet, very soothing, like it's going to be okay. Like very meditation zen voices.
Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree.
I
I'd say
love
our
it.
team cares about every single one of their candidates coming through.
You guys recently shared one of like the most touching stories I've heard. I think it was Molly shared on our staff meeting last week. We had a candidate come through who had a child with special needs coming from the Philippines, I believe,
Yeah.
and was wheelchair bound. And just the care that your team took to make sure this was the child's first time flying. And that's a long day of flying for any of you who have just been on a plane, first of all, is not a very comfortable situation, but being on a plane and never flying and being in a wheelchair, the care that your team took with them just was astounding. It was so amazing. It makes worldwide, honestly.
Thank you, Kari. Yeah, we appreciate that. You know, we do really care. And in that case, too, um, going above and beyond is kind of our specialty, but we really tailor every single case to the individual and the family needs. So, yeah, we treat everyone the same. We're excited they're all coming. You're all coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I asked Ashley earlier in the week. Ashley, you all are nurses. Ashley and I went through the same little illness earlier in the week. We didn't even know we were going on that journey together. We both had a nice little stomach flu earlier in the week, but as you can tell, we are here. We live to tell the tale. Touch and go there for a while, but we persevered. You never know what someone else's journey is. You just never know. So that was just kind of a nice little laugh after all of it was done and over with to be like, hey, you had that too. Great.
We got through it.
We did. So I asked Ashley, what are the top 5 questions that relocation specialists are asked? So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's get to question number 1. Question number 1 is, how do I get a bank account in the United States while waiting on my social security number?
Yeah, this is a question we get a lot because one of the first things that you'll need to do when you get to the United States is get a bank account so that you can use your credit cards or debit cards. I will say one thing in the US, credit card, debit card can be interchanged when you're just casually speaking to people. So that's a good just kind of side note. But when you're talking and they require a credit card or they require a debit card, that's when it will be specifically different. Um, when it comes to getting a credit card, you will need to wait to have your social security number for most banks. However, to get a debit card, there's actually a series of banks that will allow you to get a bank account without that social. There's different things that they ask for. They may ask for your address, they may ask for um, just kind of proof of employment or where you're going to be living, those kind of things. Some of those banks include Advantial, which is one of our partners. They require the bare minimum. They require a visa, and they require $5 to set up a bank account. So super easy. You can get it as soon as you get here. What's cool about Advantial as well is that they are all online, so you can start your bank account online. You can get it all set up there. And then they've partnered with tons of other credit unions that you can use their ATMs all across the United States. So they're primarily in Texas, but you can use them anywhere. Some of the other banks that you can get Social Security, you can get a bank account without a Social Security number are Bank of America, Chase, and we actually have a whole list and a huge flyer that we've created with links and access. So if you talk to your relocation coordinator when you come, they can get you all of that information as well.
So how soon should they set up their bank account once they get here? Like, let's say they land here on a Friday. Is that something they need to take care of like Monday?
Yeah, I would advise within a couple of days of arrival is a good time to set up a bank account. But it's really just going to depend on the requirements of the bank account and your temporary accommodations. Or if you're coming over with an international bank account, um, that will let you use your card here. So there are some banks. Which if you speak to your relocation coordinator, they can help you with that too. But there are some banks that you can get, let's say in the Philippines, that will let you use your card in the US. And so I'd say it could be a few weeks after arrival to set up that account. Most of the time, they're going to want an address of where you're going to be staying permanently so that they can mail you your debit card. So maybe within a week or two of arrival would be my best recommendation.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, setting up a bank account, you also have to calculate time to like get your debit card too, right?
Yep.
Sometimes that can take 7 business days, sometimes they take 10 business days. And so, what should they do in the meantime?
That's great. Actually, goes into some of the other partnerships that we have. We have a partnership called Wise,
Mhm.
which is kind of like it's a travel bank account. So you can put your money into that, and they'll give you. It's kind of like a prepaid debit card. So you put money onto the card and you can use that in the meantime. So that's one of the ones that we have. There's several other prepaid cards that you can get. There's prepaid visas. So you can stick some money on that to use to go to restaurants or to get groceries, different things like that when you arrive.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I know, I mean, even just as a US citizen, transferring your bank or setting up a new bank account, and then if you have children, a lot of times you want to set up some for them. And that can be just make sure you carve out plenty of time for that process when you go to the bank. Like a little more than 30 minutes probably if you plan on going into a bank. But I love that option that you said about it being online. Like that's fantastic.
You know what? You reminded me of something really cool with Advantial. So you can start talking to Advantial before you arrive. You can't set up anything till you arrive. However, you can a few weeks or up to a month before you arrive. You can reach out to Advantial and say, "Hey, I'm with Worldwide. What are the steps? What does it look like for me?" And they'll call you and they'll email you, actually start telling you and all the things that you need to know. And they actually have child's accounts too, and as the child ages, they get more access to their account.
Oh,
So
that's
if you're
really
looking to
cool.
speak to your family, it's a cool option too.
That is really cool. That's all the fun facts. All the fun facts.
Love it.
So this is one that I just wouldn't have even thought of. How do I reserve transportation upon arrival? So your plane has landed. Now, how do I get where I need to go? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so to preface this question, the need to schedule transportation is going to vary depending on your employer. Um, it and your relocation package that is associated with your offer. If you have questions in regards to if your employer is going to pick you up, those kind of things, you speak with your relocation coordinator. They'll advise you. They may advise you that your employer will contact you and give you those details, or we may be helping you to arrange those yourself. So a lot of those questions come, if you need to arrange it yourself, and maybe you're getting a reimbursement back for your transportation, one, we have a series of links that you can use that your relocation coordinator can give you for different pickup services as well as Uber. But the one that I wanted to bring up today was there's a new program out by Uber. It's called Uber Reserve. And so you can actually go on and reserve an Uber before you arrive, so that when you get there, you just click a button and then the car will come to you, which is a really cool new system that they've put in place. We've tested it out ourselves a few times. It's been kind of fun. And another way that you can do it is we always advise downloading the Uber app and the Lyft app just as a backup in case something goes wrong. Because thing about relocation, thing about travel is there's a lot of what ifs and circumstances that happen with weather or with all sorts of other things. So it's always best to be double prepared, especially when it comes to your initial transportation. So we always advise just downloading those apps, and almost every single airport is going to have Wi-Fi. So to set up those, you should be set in anywhere that you're at. But best advice I have is do an Uber Reserve or search for a local pickup service in the area that you can schedule beforehand, so that when you arrive, you're not stressing about getting a taxi or any kind of service. You can have it planned before you come.
So with their cell phones, like, would you recommend like purchasing the, international plan if their cell phone allows for that, so that, when they come to the US, it's easy peasy? What's your advice as far as, since you brought up, kind of cell phones and downloading those apps, what's your advice in regards to that?
That's an incredible question. I love it. So in most cases, you can just download the WhatsApp if you are on another plan that's coming over, because most of your travel you're going to have Wi-Fi access. Especially, I would personally, if I was traveling abroad, I definitely get international phone calling. You never know what's going to happen, but I understand how that can be a cost. So one of the first things that you want to do when you arrive is go get a SIM card for US calling. I would recommend that within a day or two of arrival, is to go get a phone. But you don't have to get a fancy phone, just something that can hold you over until you can figure out the right phone plan for you. We do have partnerships with Mint Mobile as well that doesn't require social. So you can set that up as quick. And I think they're like $30 a month
I was
for
gonna,
a plan.
yeah,
It's really
that's I associate it with the Ryan Reynolds phone,
good.
because
Yes.
obviously it's Ryan Reynolds. Who's not going to want to associate that, right? Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Big fan. If you ever watch the show, guys, love you.
So am I. So we're all good.
So we can totally support Mint Mobile at Worldwide. Yay! I love that. I love that. Great advice. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to the next question. What is we all need to pay attention to this, whether you're from the US or not. What is the best tip for saving money?
Thank you, Kari. I honestly, this question, as I was thinking about questions that were really important, this is one that I would say is one of the biggest concerns when we get candidates who arrive, is they say, "Oh, I didn't anticipate the amount of money that I would need to get started here in the U.S. So, what could I have done before I came? Just really start saving." And my thought, I guess my one piece of advice for anyone who's coming to the U.S. is oversave if you can. Come with as much as you can. Anytime you have something, put aside some. When you gain an income, just put aside, maybe it's 10%. And with every paycheck, you just put aside 10% and say, this is my US relocation money. It is a big sacrifice. I know what I'm asking is pretty hard to do, especially in today's economy. But there are so many bumps in the road that come, especially at the end stages, and there's a lot of unexpected things that happen. And so the more money you have, the less stressed you will be, because you'll be able to overcome those bumps. Usually when you arrive, it could take 2 to 4 weeks to get your social upon arrival. And your social is needed for a lot of things. And so you want to be able to have enough money to support yourself for at least 3 months is my best suggestion, is 3 months when you arrive. And so putting aside 10% with every paycheck, um, when you um, when you buy something and you get change back, put it in a jar. I mean, every little thing that you can do to save money. And then one thing that we see a lot of our candidates do is they get to the United States and they're very excited. They're very excited to tour. They're very excited to go see things and try new things. And we want to keep that excitement alive. But really think about um, how you can balance all of those spendings. Instead of buying 4 shirts at the store that are really exciting and beautiful, maybe just buy one. Um, think of what do you need versus what do you want, at least until you're settled. And once you're settled, then that's the great time to go on adventures, and you'll start getting your income that'll be coming in from work, and you'll have what's called paid time off, which is where you will be able to go on vacation, and be paid to do that. So pretty exciting there.
Absolutely. The Statue of Liberty hasn't sunk yet, folks. So it's not going anywhere. You don't need to pay money to go on that ferry to go see it just yet. There's all sorts of cool things to do in the towns where you live that are cheap, that you could just go see, being outside, depending on when you arrive. Another tip is I see a lot. I'm guilty as a tourist who's been to other countries and been fortunate enough to travel. As you go into the airport and you're like, I want to buy a T-shirt that says I've been to the Philippines. Don't buy stuff at the airport because it is really, really expensive. Like, we understand you're so excited you're arriving to the United States. You're going to be you would pay $25 US dollars for that T-shirt in the airport. You're going to get it for $5 at Old Navy. Okay. American flag on it and everything. So don't buy. It's going to be tempting. I'm a shopper. I know, but walk by with your hands in your pockets. Don't get the fidget spinners at the airport. Okay.
I
Wait
love
till you get in there.
One other thing, just because you brought it up, huge advice is do not go to the currency exchange places at the airport. They are going to dock you a huge interest on that currency exchange. We have partners that can help with that, but your bank, if you talk to your bank beforehand, they can do a currency exchange for you, and that will have the lowest interest rate. And you're save all the money you can. Yes, Kari, don't do anything in the airport.
don't do anything unless you're reserving an Uber on your app. No money spent in the airport.
Exactly.
Even though it says duty free, don't do it. Don't do it. As you can tell, I've obviously succumbed to some of those shops myself.
Me too.
Lesson learned the hard way. All right, question 4. This is fun. I also, on the last slide, I forgot to mention about saving money when you come to the United States. Starting next week, I'm going to have all these. I'm leaving my corner, ladies and gentlemen. Worldwide's letting me out of the corner. Next week, we're going to go grocery shopping in America. So I'm going to teach you how to save money once you get here too. So don't think that once you get here, you have to spend a bunch of money. No. I am married to the cheapest man alive, and he taught me well. So I'm going to pass all those tips and tricks onto you. And then U.S. driver's license, I'm going to the DMV. So we're going to walk through that process as well and show you the goofy Kari Cooper side of what it looks like to go to the DMV, which is my least favorite place on the planet, but I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you, Ashley Wheatley, and all of those candidates getting ready to relocate.
Oh, so I'm doing it myself next week. So I'll I'll go through the process and get some tips as well. Share those
That
as
would
well.
be fantastic. Oh, the DMV, for those of you who don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that stands for the Department of Motor Vehicles. We just abbreviate it DMV. And so that leads us to question 4, which is, what advice do you have on getting your U.S. driver's license?
Awesome. Thank you, Kari. I just to preface this, the process of the DMV is hard for native born Americans. So if you are stressed about the process, know that everyone is stressed about the process. It's not just you. It's hard. And the best way to learn that information is to do your research. So every single state is going to have a little bit of a different process of what you'll need. But to get a driver's license, you're going to need to get auto insurance. And then you're also going to need to go to a DMV or whatever that state's acronym is for their Department of Motor Vehicles. You're going to need to go in and you're going to bring documents like your birth certificate, your education, your employment, your visa, all of those things. You're going to need to bring those in and then they'll walk you through the process. At the DMV. But the more you research beforehand and the more you bring with you, the faster your process will be at the DMV. When it comes to getting a driver's license, the best advice I can have is start to learn to drive now before you come. Driving classes in the United States are very expensive. And they're hard to get to, and sometimes you have to provide a car, which is kind of counterproductive when you need a driver's license to get a car. um, so just know that that's a little harder to do. It is going to be way cheaper and more accessible in the country that you are to learn to drive if you need to learn to drive. So start doing that now. And then get your international driver's license. If you get your international driver's license, majority of the states, when you come to the United States, will let you use that international driver's license for a couple months. Or even in some cases up to a year. You can use that international driver's license instead of getting the US driver's license. That allows you to prep and prepare and get all the things that you need. It also will help you to get an auto loan so you can get a car faster, all of those different things. With an auto loan, just a tidbit to throw out there, you will need a social security number for an auto loan. So that would be something that you have to get after you have your social. However, if you work with some of our partners, one of them being International Auto Source, they can set you up in their program, in their system. You can pick your car, all of those things. And in a lot of cases, if you have an international driver's license, they can get you a rental car until your actual car comes. And they'll lock in a rate for you that you won't be able to beat once you do get your social and they run your credit later on. So best advice is get that international driver's license, start driving now. In the United States, it is essential to drive. The only places where public transportation is accessible is the really big cities, and even then they're not the best. So you want to be prepared to drive and get a car, especially within the first 6 months of being in the US.
100%. And driving in the US, depending on where you are, can be a scary thing. So lots of traffic laws. Depends on where you're from. I mean, I've been in countries where the traffic laws are merely suggestions. They are not laws, but in the
Love that.
United States, they are laws. So that stop sign is not a suggestion. You have to stop. So all the fun things that come with driving. Getting a car right now, in the United States, the used car, like the amount, it's a supply and demand type thing right now, right? So economics plays a big deal, and used cars right now are really expensive, depending on what you're looking for. So it's I'm going to have to do a whole show now on buying a car. Shucks, that means I'm going to have to tell my husband I need to buy a new car so that I can teach the worldwide candidates how to buy a car. I got to do all these journeys. Oh my goodness.
I
He's
love
going
it.
to love
Plug it
that.
in there.
He's going to love that. My car is, I'm not a car person. Like, I don't care as long as it gets me from point A to point B. Some people are really big car people. I've been driving the same car since 2007. Ashley, you were probably in what, like middle school at that point? I've been driving the same car since you were in like middle school. So, and I am perfectly okay with it.
And one thing too, this is another tip with saving money. Don't buy something more than you need.
Right.
Sometimes we come to the United States. By the way, I've lived in another country. I lived in Brazil for 2 years, and so I immigrated that way. And so a lot of this I have experienced firsthand. But
Mm-hmm.
when you move to a new country, there's big open doors and you're very excited. And so sometimes we go and we're saying, I want my dream house and I want my dream car because I'm now here living the dream. Um, Remember to be modest. Start small. Once you get established, then go for the big things. Then go for your dream house, your dream car. But when you first come, think about what's just what I need. What's going to get me to work? What's going to get me to some fun park? What's going to get me to the grocery store? Start small. Build up a good foundation, especially with your finances. Become self-sufficient, and then go for those big dreams.
100%. Yeah. Make sure your bank account matches the size of your dreams for right now. Absolutely. All right. So, our final question is going to be, of course, who can I go to for help with my relocation needs?
Awesome. I love this question. You will find that once you get your visa, that a whole army of a worldwide staff are going to start coming into your life. You won't just have your case manager anymore. You have a whole team of people that are really coming in to help you with the relocation. So first of all, your case manager is still going to be with you throughout the process, but their primary focus is going to be working with documentation or your immigration needs. So if there's specific issues with your visa or your family's visa, those are the questions that um, your case manager can answer. When it comes to your relocation needs, things like helping you find permanent housing, helping you get a bank account, any of the questions that we've talked about today, you're going to want to go to your relocation coordinator. And that coordinator is also going to be helping you to book your flights to the United States. They're going to be helping educate you on your relocation package, what you're a little bit about your employer, if you'll be setting up start dates with them. With that aside, there's also several other people. You'll have your licensure specialist who will be helping you obtain your license if you haven't received that already. You will also have the mail room, which is where your social security cards, your green cards, those will go, and then they will scan those in, give you an electronic copy, and then mail it to you directly after we confirm your address. You'll also have, as soon as you begin working, you'll have your candidate support team that will come in and do calls with you and make sure that you're acclimating to your new work environment. So there's a lot of people that are going to come into your life right there at the end to really support you. You can reach out to any one of us or any one of those people, and they will get you to the right person if you're not sure. So never stress about that. But when it comes to your relocation needs specifically, your relocation coordinator is there to help.
We have the best relocation coordinator team. They really are absolutely stellar. We do have viewers from Tanzania who have commented, Cape Town as well. I love when people comment and say who they are and where they're tuning in from. So, and all the journeys that you guys are preparing to take. I can only imagine. I feel like it's kind of like two main parties all the way until you get to, at what stage in the process like does relocation, so after what event happens, when does relocation get involved?
That's a great question. So if you ever have questions, you can reach out to your case managers and they'll get the answers from the relocation team. So if you have them along the process, you can ask. But at stage 10B, so once you've completed your embassy interview, your visa gets approved. Your visa will come 2 to 3 weeks after that at most. Once you have your visa in hand, you send that into your case manager, and they will send your case to our team, where you'll be assigned a relocation coordinator who will reach out with the introduction email saying, I'm going to help you through the process. This is a little bit about me. They're going to give you their basically a link to their calendar, which you can schedule calls with them at any time. They're going to give you their direct line, so you can call them, you can email them, help start that process. But it's really, you're going to get assigned a relocation coordinator once you have your visas in hand. There's no issues with like your family's visas or situations like that. And once your facility is confirmed, and that's only in a few employers' cases. But we want your facility to be confirmed. We want to make sure we know exactly where you're going before we book your travel.
Absolutely. We would hate for you to fly to Atlanta and your job is in LA.
That would be a really rough situation.
That'd be a rough start to your journey in the United States. So Atlanta is very different from LA. Fantastic. You guys are in such great hands once you get to the relocation phase of the journey. Let me see if we've got, obviously we have people from Nigeria. Most people are just chiming in saying, hey, I'm watching, I'm from this country. So Ashley, you have done such a phenomenal job today covering those questions. I know a lot of people, rewatch this video. They go back and watch it. I know a lot of our nurses who are in this phase of relocation, a lot of them are super busy. So they watch when they can. But we've invited all of our candidates to be watching and tuning in. So hopefully our case managers will promote this show because you've given so much fantastic information today. Absolutely priceless. I just want to thank you and thank your team for just the amazing things that you do and the patience that you do it with. That's what amazes me is the patience that you have, because booking flights right now is like the most frustrating thing ever. So
Absolutely. And well, thank you, Kari, for letting me be here today. Last plug I have is really that we are here to help. So please reach out. If we don't know you're struggling, we can't help you. So please let us know the things that you need, and we will do our best to help give you all the information that will help you succeed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Ashley. We so appreciate you. Wish you a great day. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon in our lovely relocation series.
All right.
Bye, Ashley. All right. So a massive shout out to Ashley Wheatley for everything that she is, everything that she does. She is just the kindest person, and our relocation team, ladies and gentlemen, they really are the kindest, sweetest people. Some of the sweetest that I've ever worked with. So in honor of our relocation team, and like I said, to promote all the people getting ready to come to the United States, we do have people who've come to the United States. We have our team led by Miss Stephanie Tucker. She's in the Idaho office, but our team over there sends out surveys once you get here just to kind of check in and be like, how did we do? And one of the feedbacks was talking about preparing for English in America, because you prepared so hard for English on a language exam. And maybe you took the OET and you prepared for English in the workplace, but you're going to come over here and you're going to hear some crazy words. Because in the United States, we just like to invent new words. So some slang words are going to be coming at you. But next week, I'm so excited. Next week, Kari is leaving her corner. That's right, folks. I am leaving my corner. I will be headed out to Walmart next week. So a new location for me. It's not going to change anything for you. It's not going to change the time. You're still going to tune into the same place. It's just, I'm going to show you what it's like to grocery shop. And I'm legit grocery shopping. Like, I'm not just going to make a nice, tiny little list like I'm baking a cake. No, I am going to show you what I do. I'm grocery shopping for a family of 4. And what does my grocery trip look like? And we're going to go to Walmart because that's one of the most financially appropriate stores. There's of course stores who are more expensive. There might be some stores that are cheaper, but we're going to talk about all things grocery store, and you're going to get to see firsthand a grocery trip with me. So make sure you are tuning in next week. It should be a lot of fun. I hope it's a lot of fun. Hope it's knowledgeable for you guys, but that's the goal, to just teach you guys and prepare you as much as possible for life here in the United States. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you for stumbling into Kari's Corner. And remember, don't face the corner, face the world with Worldwide.